What's up, Stat fam? I told you we was coming back with another one. We got Larry Bird. I am the guy who's going to hit the shot. Interview, part 2. Final part. This is a live reaction. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and comment below. Let's get it. Y'all know it's legendary and it's live. Hope y'all having a good day out there. I hope the volume will be straight for y'all in the second one. I know some of y'all Bird fans said the volume wasn't right on the video. So we salute y'all. Let's get to it.
So bad on the home court that next time we came in there, they knew they was going to get beat.
What about, I just want to ask you, I was thinking about what to ask you about the steal, against Isaiah, and I almost don't even know what to say. What do you think that's the greatest play you've ever made, like in a clutch situation?
I don't know. I think it's probably one of the luckiest plays I ever made.
Okay. Well, do you get a charge thinking about it? Like,
Not really. I get a charge when I tell somebody on the opposing team that I'm going to hit the last second shot and do it. That's what it's all about. Making a steal at the end of the game that you had no idea or really had no chance of doing. You really don't give me a big thrill. I'm glad I did it, of course, and I'm glad we won. But that's another thing about DJ. You make the steal and all of a sudden you're stuck in the corner and the clock's down to 2 seconds and you just happen to look up and see he's smart enough to run to the basket. I guarantee if you look on that tape, nobody else on the floor at that time probably made a move to the basket on our team. So, I mean, that's what it's all about. Just having two guys. As soon as he seen that I had a chance to steal it, he broke for the basket. The game was over.
it seems like, the last few years, Celtics, you're not that level you were from 82 to 87 or whatever. And you're still a good team, but it seems like with you, it almost doesn't matter. I mean, you're still doing some amazing things, like the duel with Dominique and almost winning that game in '87 against the Lakers in Game 4 with that shot. Is there like regardless of the situation, an attitude that you bring to the game?
Well, I always try to bring the same attitude. The thing that I try to do is prepare myself to play. There's nothing I can do about, how well somebody else is going to play. So I've learned. I used to worry about everybody. Is Maxwell going to come to play tonight? Is Robert going to come to play tonight? Or is these guys going to be on their game tonight? But there's no use me worrying about it. That was my first couple years in the league. Once I found out about the league, the only guy I got to worry about if he comes to play is myself. That's what I try to do. I just try to go out there and play as well as I can, and not individually or anything. Just go out there and prepare myself to play 48 minutes.
I just wanted to kind of bring it around the French Liquor. I know you came in you labeled yourself, I think, the head from French Liquor, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do that? I mean, you're obviously much wiser, and everyone we talk to says, Larry,
No, I just said that. It just came out.
You're like the only athlete who associates himself with his hometown. You think that's kind of unusual?
Well, like I said, when I grew up, I never went away from French Lick, so this is all I really knew. I went to Hobart in the summer for a month, but that's as far as I journeyed out of French Lick. So it's not that I think this is the greatest town in the world, but it's my hometown. It's where my family and friends are, so it's important to me.
Real legend.
You think that in a way, can you compare Boston in a sense to French Lick?
No.
Like kind of like the community
Right.
that you formed there, like in a way, is it?
Well, I have my friends in Boston, but it's completely different. And when I go back to Boston, I'm glad to get to Boston. Once the season's over, I'm glad to get home. And that's why I built my house and everything down here, is because I'm sort of a private guy, and I like to be by myself. And when I get ready to do something, I don't want to stop at the store and sign 300 autographs. I want to go and get to where I'm going. And down here, it's to a level where it's very minimal.
When you were growing up, what were your aspirations when you were a little kid? I want to be a fireman. If someone would say, someone would have told you then what would have happened now, what would you say?
I really don't remember. I'm sure that somewhere down the road I wanted to play sports, but back then I really didn't know much about it, so I can't really remember.
What imprint do you think you implanted on the game of basketball?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like the question when they ask you what you want on your grave. What you think people should, when you die, what people should think of you as. And it's tough because I don't think I really implanted anything. Basketball is always going to be there. 10 years from now, there's going to be somebody better than me, bigger than me, stronger than me, and play well. It's just like comparing me to Rick Barry. Rick Barry had his own style, and I have my own style. But while I'm playing the game, I want to be considered one of the best because, I like to play against Dominic, Magic, and I want to play on the same level as them guys. And that's what it's all about, competing every night against the best players. And that's why I hope when I get out, people say, well, he competed every night, and he did pretty good.
They definitely said that.
Indiana is, whatever, the hotbed of basketball, one of the two or three in the country. And Boston is has the most tradition of all basketball franchises. Do you think it's a coincidence that you grew up here and you were a basketball player and you played for the Celtics? I mean, it's kind of like almost like it all worked out so perfectly.
Well, it's worked out pretty good so far, but I don't know. I just think Red was a little bit smarter than the other guy. I think that he could read talent a little bit better than the other GMs. I'm sure that some of the GMs, if they had 15th, 16th, 17th pick, they might have took a chance if they had a pretty good team. I heard that Milwaukee was interested because they had a pretty stable team at the time. And they had 12th pick, and they was going to sort of, I heard they was going to take me whether they would have or not. I just think that Red took a gamble because he had the 6th and the 8th pick that year. And why didn't he wait to the 8th pick? Why did he take me the 6th pick? So he wanted me, and he could read talent a little bit better. Red says that he don't know if I would have turned out to be an all-star player or not, but he must have seen something he liked. Right. You just don't go after good players in the first round and the 6th pick.
How you talk about circumstances that shape your character or whatever. How important do you think are the hardships that you've had to overcome, maybe your background or whatever?
Well, I think it's as you mature, you start to respect all that. As growing up, you don't realize that you don't have anything because you never had it in the first place. But making some money and looking back, I remember all of it, and I don't want to be like that again.
What about your relationship with the fans in Boston and they relating to you as kind of like a blue collar player and everything like that?
Well, I always try to play hard, and I know when I go out there and play basketball, after the game I can tell how hard I played that night because how sore I am the next day or how tired I am after the game. And very few times have I got up the next morning and really got up and feeling great. I always had some stiffness, I always felt bruised and banged around, and some days I just don't feel like getting out of bed because I'm so tired. But I probably, over all the games I played, I can probably remember back to 5 or 6 games that I felt that I didn't play as hard as I should have played.
You think that's a reason for your popularity?
I don't know. There's a lot of things. I think just coming in there and having success right away has a lot to do with it.
You're always like, you always said, there's Bird on the floor again, and guys always say, when he plays so hard, he makes it hard for the 12th guy not to play hard. That's true.
Well, that does. That's the one thing that carries over to the whole team. I can remember when I first came in that in the league, Artis Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about, going after loose balls. And we're getting a little bit older now and feeling the bangs and the bumps and bruises and all that. I can see where he's coming from, but I can't change my style of play. I got to play like that every night.
Do you people respond to that?
Sure they do. They respect it, because if you go down and get one loose ball that's on the ground, that could be the turning point of the game, and it has been in some instances.
Do you think you're like the in a way like the working class hero in the NBA?
I don't know. There's a lot of guys that work awful hard. There's guys that probably work just as hard or harder than I do. It's just that I've been doing it for a little bit longer than they have. But once I'm gone and they keep coming up, they'll say that they worked harder than I did.
How do you explain your popularity?
Well, I just think I play hard, and I've had success early in my career. We won 3 championships, and 3 championships is more than 90% of the teams in the league has won ever since they've been in the league. So I think that just going out there and getting the job done and being the focus of the team for so many years, I think that's why I have everybody looking and following my career.
Bob Wolf said, Larry, he's the
real legend.
Like when you're friends with a guy, and like when you're in junior high or something like that, and you're like that's the way you look at the world. Your teammate's your teammate, your friend's your friend, and like a lot of people get older and they change. He says you haven't changed, and that's like the thing that he admires most about you. And do you think that's true in a way?
Well, I have a lot of friends that I had back when I was younger, but the thing about that I've seen over the years is that people always says, well, is he going to change when he comes back? Has he changed? But I have friends here that pretty good friends of mine before I left, and every year I come home, if I don't go up to them and say hi and start talking to them, they wouldn't speak to me all year because they're afraid I made the change. And I understand that, and but every year after being in there 11 years now, it seems like they would understand. But it's just something that you have to put up with, and it's something that you have to deal with. And now that I'm a little bit older, I can deal with it. But I still have basically the same friends I always had, and made some along the way. And I think loyalty and friendship and being able to get along with people and having trust in them is the biggest thing. Because if you can't trust your family and your friends, you better find a new family and you better find some new friends.
Right.
I know you talk about
OB right up
a lot, and you're saying that in your book, one of the instances you remember is your father and his ankle, and that got always going to work when he was hurt, and everything. Could you relate that story again?
Well, we don't know if he broke it or he just hurt it, but had lost swelling in his ankle and couldn't get his boot on. We had to help him get his boot on and go to work. So, to me, it would have been very easy to just say heck with it, but he knew he had to go. So we helped him get it on there, and he went to work.
Did that make a big impression on you?
It must have, because it's probably been 20-some years ago.
Is that kind of like your approach to life or your job, not life?
Well, I think that going to your job, if you can possibly get there and know you can accomplish something, I wouldn't want to go out there and play for the Celtics if I knew I was going to hurt the team. But there's a lot of, just like having the flu, I've been sick and running the 102 temperature before, but once I get on the basketball court, it's all gone. You forget all about it. It's just getting yourself out there and get moving. Once you get moving, you're not sick anymore. After the game, you get sick again, but during the game,
you're right.
And that's what I've always felt. If you can get yourself there and go out there and get going and try it, it's probably going away. But in our league, guys, if you get in, put in the game, you just play 3 minutes, get taken out, that counts as the whole game. So their stats drop, and that's why a lot of guys don't try it.
You you've reached, all the heights you've reached and this and that. Do you wish, you ever think, I wish my father was here to share some of this with me?
Not really. He chose his own style of life, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, of course, I'd like him to be around, but he's not around. So there's nothing I can do about it.
The fact that he died when he did, and you were, I think at that time, I think you were home, and after, how tough was that to deal? I mean, do you look at that as a point in your life when things were like at their lowest kind of?
Well, at the time, yeah, but there's nothing you can do about something like that. I mean, he chose the way he wanted to die, and he did it, and it's just unfortunately that some people have problems like that. But I wish he was here, but he's not. So I have to go on with my life and try to make the most of my life, just like the rest of my family has. And that's the way we dealt with it.
You say you're like you're an emotionally tough guy, like you're a survivor. Right?
I'd say a survivor, but I don't know how emotionally tough I am. You play in the NBA, you learn to deal with emotions. One day you can be up here, the next day you're down here when you lose a big game, and you just go up and down, and you have to deal with it. And I've learned to deal with it through the NBA because you can be on that roller coaster ride for a long time.
You think you're I mean, athletes get a lot of adulation, and some justified, some not. I mean, do you think you're deserving of all the attention? And I mean, do you think you're special?
No, I think I'm a great basketball player, and it's just like anybody working in a factory. If the public loved to watch a guy build a chair or make a chair, and they would pay to watch this guy do it, it's no different than they would pay to watch me. Everybody that grows up wants to be great in sports. No matter if you're in junior high or grade school, everybody wants to be a basketball, baseball, football player, or a soccer player, any sport. It's just that the people can keep on going. And I think that everybody in America at one time during their life wants to be in sports some way. It's just fortunate enough for me that I grew and I practiced and I had the ability to get through all the tough times and made myself a good player. I'm just very fortunate. But the people who work in factories, I think, deserve a lot more credit than me. It's just unfortunate for them. They just don't get paid the salaries we do.
Big Bird, real legend, man, for real. I could watch all of it every day, over and over again. Never get old. Real legend, real motivation too. Salute you, Big Bird. Bird family is legendary. I thank y'all for watching the full video. We're gonna be back with another video after this video. Make sure y'all stay prayed up. Y'all be safe. And y'all be good. You know what?